My name is Kristin. I am 30 years old and I have breast cancer. So this is just pretty much a synopsis of what's going on right now. Tomorrow will be my second round of chemo. The type of breast cancer I have is I am triple negative, so my tumor is not fed by any hormones. Triple negative breast cancer is a lot more aggressive and it's harder to treat, but it is more commonly found in younger women like myself. I got my diagnosis about a month ago, and before I started chemo, I got my chemo port put in, which is right here. And then I went through 2 weeks of hormone treatment, injections in my stomach. And then they did a surgery to harvest and freeze my eggs because the type of chemo that I get for this cancer is pretty potent and more than likely I will be infertile afterwards. So within the past month I've had 2 surgeries, numerous doctor's appointments and tests, but 2 weeks ago I had my first round of chemo. I'm doing about a 4-month plan every other week. It's called dose-dense chemo. Because of the type of cancer is so aggressive, they want to hit it really hard before they do surgery. So pretty much right now I feel pretty good. I bounced back from the last chemo. I'm able to exercise and eat normally. After my first round that weekend, it hit me pretty hard. I was pretty much in my apartment all weekend. Every round will be a little bit harder. So my second round will be tomorrow. I still have all my hair. It's coming out pretty much anytime I touch it now. So by this weekend, it'll probably pretty much be out. I think I'm gonna shave it. I have 2 wigs already and lots of hats. Tonight was my first support group. There's a group in the Lansing area of young women who have fought and beat breast cancer at a young age, and they're kind of lifting me up and carrying me through this process and telling me about all the stuff that will kind of go on that you don't really think about.
But then the adriamycin, we've got to push it over like 10 to 15 minutes. So we'll just be hanging out here with a big red syringe. It's not gonna take any more time. It's just probably gonna send you to the bathroom more.
Oh, okay. I know how to do that.
Yeah. There was something, I went to a pharmacy meeting a couple weeks ago and they were talking about that it actually got its name from like the Adriatic Ocean, the Red Sea. Really? Adriamycin, which I'm not exactly sure how that all happens. But a lot of the chemotherapies are derived from things in nature. Most of them now are like, they're made in a lab. The Taxol actually comes from like the bark of some yew tree.
That's what Dr. Rapson was telling me yesterday, because I was asking her about, like, are my side effects going to be the same or different, and she told me they could be different, and then she told me where it came from. I was like, that is weird.
Isn't that crazy? Like, where do people come up with that?
I don't know.
That's the part I wonder about. Like, how do you is it some old Indian thing that you...
Right. They just randomly try and hope it works.
Yeah.
So what stage were you diagnosed with?
I was stage 2B, based on the fact that my tumor size was 5 centimeters, and I had no node involved in it, so it didn't spread to my lymph nodes.
Is there a family history of breast cancer?
I don't have a family history because I was adopted. So they did the BRCA gene test. The BRCA gene basically is a genetic test that tells you if you're more prone to get breast cancer. And I was negative for both of those, so they were able to do breast conserving surgery. They just did a lumpectomy instead of having to have like the more radical bilateral mastectomy.
So how was the cancer initially detected?
I actually found the cancer myself doing a routine exam, and then I went in the next week for my physical and showed my primary care physician,
and then she ordered a mammogram and ultrasound, and then they ordered a biopsy, and then they found out it was cancer.
How did you feel when you first received the news?
Honestly, everything happened so quick that I mean, you would think you'd be devastated. I mean, I cried in my initial appointment, but they basically just started you right away with, I had surgery the next week, and then I started treatment right away, so I didn't really have time to process it.
So tell me about the treatment process.
They started me out with chemo. It's called neoadjuvant, and they basically do 8 rounds of chemo up front, and then they do surgery. So I had my lumpectomy following chemo, and now I'm going through radiation. So I'll have 33 rounds of radiation 5 days a week for 6.5 weeks.
So it's something that can be kind of toxic to the veins. So that's why we like to do it through a free-flowing IV. So there's a lot of fluid kind of coming through the IV with it. But that's where it's good when you've got a port, because it's going, it's not like in a superficial vessel where it can be more irritating.
Put a towel down.
I know, I just forgot.
Why do you?
I forgot.
Oh.
It really was it. Kind of tickled. Never had my hair buzzed before. My hair is starting to fall out, so taking a bunch and just getting it shaved off.
How did it make you feel when you lost your hair?
Honestly, I think that was the worst part. Being, a female, and your hair has a lot to do with how you feel, how you're not feeling feminine anymore because you're bald, and having to worry about, am I going to wear a hat? Should I wear a wig? I was boundingly determined to only wear wigs before I lost my hair, so people didn't know that I had cancer. And then once I lost my hair, I was like, screw it. I think I've worn them once or twice the past, 6 months. But I think the hardest part being a female and going through everything is that people have this image of what, someone who has cancer looks like, and it's usually, people that are sickly thin and lose a lot of weight on chemo. But girls my age, the doctors put you in what's called chemopause, so you're in menopause, and you usually gain a lot of weight, and you have hot flashes, and it's just like you're going through menopause. So there's that, and then I guess the other thing is I'm left now with like these massive scars on, like this is the scar from my lumpectomy, and then I have a scar over here from when they put the chemo port in, and it just adds to, not necessarily feeling pretty or feminine all the time. So these are hats that my mom actually made me, because one of these hats, like this hat for example, on one of the cancer websites would be like $20, and going through all the treatments and driving to all the appointments, you definitely don't have money for that. So she knit me all of these different hats, and then when I'm all done with them, we're going to donate them to the U of M Cancer Center for other cancer patients. So these are all of my winter ones, and then I have summer hats too.
Did you face any obstacles during your treatment process?
Honestly, the chemo, it was pretty steady. Like I was still able to go to the gym every week and live by myself. But after I finished up all my chemo, then I got really sick, and I had, fevers of 104, and I was in the hospital for a week and a half with an infection. because your immune system is just so knocked down that you can't fight anything off. So, but besides that, everything went pretty good.
What message would you provide to women in the community?
I think my biggest thing would be that there's a lot of support out there. Being a young female, I thought, everyone in my doctor's office that had cancer are older than my mom. But I'm actually involved in a young cancer survivor group, and they're all women under 40. And that's right here in the Lansing area. So there's tons of programs and like support systems out there for you.